Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be giving just a little um, preview of a paper that I'm working on with co-authors Andrew Stewart, Andy Thompson, Yudong Fang Si, and Mikhail Schwadlock. And we just got the reviews back, so hopefully soon you'll be seeing this paper out. But we ran an MIT GCM simulation that is circumpolar, so it's a bigger scale than just the Amundsen Bellingshausen C. So we ran this simulation where we coupled a thermodynamically coupled the ice shelf. So the ice shelf itself is not responding to the water or to the water temperature and velocity underneath the ice shelf cavity in any way except by just changing the amount of melt rate. So the ice shelf is not melting back or moving or adjusting on those longer time scales. So we ran these simulations and we found some really interesting results that we could basically consider three different kinds of regions. We have dense shelf water formation regions, the Weddell Sea, the Ross Sea, and Foods Bay. And then we have downstream regions where following the slopefront coastal current that are downstream of these major regions that I highlight here in purple. In our base state, these dense shelf regions, we have essentially dense shelf water being formed underneath in these areas and cascading over the slope. And in the downstream regions, we basically have circumpolar deep water being held back to varying degrees depending on where you are. And then we run climate change experiments where we force the simulations using the SSP5 8.5 run. And then we use an innovative technique that we developed using constant hydrography inside the ice shelf cavities as a way to tease apart the force response versus melt feedback. I don't have time to go into the details of how we did this decomposition, but I feel free to reach out to me afterwards. Happy to share a preprint, happy to talk about that more. So for the force response, which effectively is just the response that we get from changing climate change and not the effects of changing melt water, you effectively get a shoaling of circumpolar deep water in very large regions around the continent for the downstream regions. And in the dense shelf formation region, we have a lot less dense shelf water that's formed. When we include the melt feedback and we just isolate the effects of the melt feedback by itself, we see that there's a lot more melt that happens in these dense shelf regions, and it effectively makes the dense shelf water no longer dense enough, and it prevents it from cascading over the shelf. And this happens in these three regions. And then that excess melt water gets then transported into these downstream regions shown by these blue arrows, which leads to meltwater shielding, and it effectively prevents the circumpolar deep water from getting into the ice shelf cavity. And this tells us that the meltwater feedback has a really non-uniform effect depending on the region that you are in, and that the connectivity between these marginal seas is really important for understanding how the whole system will respond to climate change.